Alsata and I were trying to make feijoada with smoked turkey, but I was too lazy to go and get turkey. But we thought we'll try making a vegetarian feijoada, which actually means beans. It's like a beans soup. And we have, we're gonna, I don't have a recipe, but we're gonna just take, what do you call it? We'll just gauge how much we need. Okay, so I have 1.5 cups of black beans, which I have soaked overnight, and it's a good idea to do that. And for Bahian feijoada, I had read that unlike the feijoada from the rest of Brazil, they use vegetables like kale, potato, or cabbage. So we're going to be using potatoes. I have peeled and cut the potatoes into 8 pieces, and we are going to be using 1 onion cut into small bits like chopped, and we have taken about 6 or 7 cloves of garlic, and we'll be using bay leaves, which is a kind of a spice which we actually comes from India, but I guess the Bahians will use it too probably.
Yep.
And we are going to use the coriander for garnish, and I'm going to be using about a couple of spoons of olive oil, the healthier version. I'm just gonna,
I think that's maybe what, like,
I think it might be a little bit too much, but
like 3 tablespoons or so.
yeah, about 3 tablespoons of oil. But if you like less oil, you can also use about 2 of them. So I'm gonna let it warm for a while, and then I will put the onions and the garlic in the oil. And I just wanted to put in a little bit of thing about India. We actually also have black beans, which from the mountains of the Himalayas, we use actually pork feet or any other kind of meat with bones. And I thought there was a kind of similarity, and I think Alsata, you were talking about in...
Yeah, in Jamaica we have a similar dish, but we use red beans, or similar to like kidney beans. Same thing with the potatoes and
carrots, you said.
Yeah, carrots, and we add like pork or beef, salted pork, salted beef, and we add coconut milk. But
so that's a little bit different from
that would be the main
Indian
difference is the
version.
coconut.
Well, the feijoada that we're making today is a vegetarian one, but our next video we're gonna try and make the meat version. They're going to be, I think, about 2 or 3 different types of meat. We'll have to have dried beef and pork and sausages. There are 2 different types of sausages. I don't think they put any vegetables in the meat feijoada, which we'll do in the next video. But today, let's try and put some. I think it's ready.
Yep.
I don't want to make the olive oil too hot because it might just burn. So we're just gonna put that in there. Okay, and then we can stir that. So we're gonna cook this till it becomes a little caramelized. Okay, and it's gonna take some time, I guess, to do that. So while this is cooking, let me tell you a little bit about the feijoada. I guess the feijoada started during the time of slavery in Brazil, where a lot of the African people, they would eat the meat that was not used by the employers or their bosses, and they would normally put like the pig ears or the foot of the pig, or they could what are the other things they would put in there?
Like the tail, the snout, all the little
things that was not used by the employers. Employer's kitchen, they would put in there, and then they would put it with beans and make a very nice dish. And I was just talking to Alsata and saying that a lot of the slaves over there got their protein from these things that were thrown out by the employer's kitchen. I think as the time went on, people really liked what it tastes like. It really tastes good,
Yeah.
even with the snout and the hooves. It tastes good. And they replaced it with the dried meat.
Right.
I think they're using dried beef, which is I think dried in the sun.
Yeah.
And they use salted pork and different types of sausages. And now it's become the national food
dish
of Brazil. How ironic is that? That a food that was eaten by the slaves now has become the worldwide well-known feijoada. And it is, I think in Brazil, they have that every Sunday. Or is it Saturday? One of the days.
Yeah.
I remember when I went for Carnival, we went and stayed with one of the Brazilian families there. And she was so kind. Every Sunday, I was there for 2 weeks. She made feijoada for us.
Lucky you.
Free. You didn't have to pay a cent. She was so wonderful. So it looks like Sunday seems to be the day for feijoada. And normally, I think it was made in a clay pot in the olden days. But nowadays, they make it in these huge pots where they make these like a pasta pot. And they cook it for like 6 hours, 7 hours a day.
Just simmer it. Yeah.
Today, we're going to make it in a
Pressure cooker.
pressure cooker. Great.
Modern convenience.
Modern American convenience, because we don't want to spend 6 hours over the stove.
Right.
But there are some options. We could use the crock pot. After you fry the onions and the garlic and it becomes nice and browned, we will put the black beans in them. And if you're using a crock pot, you could put the mixture of the black beans and the potatoes and everything and put it in the crock pot and leave it for 8 hours. Like tonight, I could put it in the crock pot and then
overnight.
in the morning it'd be ready.
Right.
It'd be nice and creamy. The other option is to cook it for 6 hours, and the third option is to make it in the pressure cooker. We are going to do that today because I think it takes about 15-20 minutes to cook. So
it's really quick.
so now I'm going to just. I think we should wait a little bit more. What do you think, Sarah? Just for the onions to get a little bit
more brown.
Yeah. And then we can put the black beans, right?
Yep.
So I think the feijoada is a wonderful dish to make, and I think the feijoada is normally served with kururu, which is the
karuru or
is the lady's fingers, which we're going to make in our next video.
Oh, the okra.
The okra.
Which in Brazil they call it quiabo.
Quiabo. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that next time we'll make that dish which complements the feijoada with the white rice.
Yes.
Okay, so shall we just put the
put the black beans in there now?
I can put the black beans in there. And as I told you that we have to soak the black beans overnight. If you'd like to use a canned black beans, you could do that. Just make sure that you wash some of the beans because it's too salty. It can be too salty, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the best option would be to soak it overnight because then you get the taste of the black beans.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But again, you know, for to make it fast, the canned ones could be made too. Have you ever made with canned beans?
I don't usually cook with canned beans.
Yeah, I haven't made it either. So I'm gonna just cook it for a while.
It smells really good.
Yeah,
the onion and the garlic.
Is very nice. And then I'm gonna put the potatoes in there, or maybe later on, not now. Let me just cook this for 2 minutes, not much. And this is the bay leaves. It just gives a little bit of a flavor. So I'm gonna just put a few.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what about like salt and pepper?
We can put a little bit of salt.
Do you usually add?
You know, the thing is that I normally don't use pepper as a spice for feijoada. But have you used pepper in feijoada?
I've never made the Brazilian version, but I know in our version we put pepper in everything.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could put a little bit of pepper.
But, yeah, make it however you make it.
Well, I think the Bahian version is just a simple version, just putting the onions and the garlic and cooking the black beans and that, and then putting the potatoes, and we'll put it on pressure for about 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, but let's put a little bit of salt. Again, I am just like, don't have the exact recipe, but so about like a teaspoon.
Yeah. One to 1.5
like
teaspoons.
like a level teaspoon.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I have hypertension, so I take very little salt.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you like. If you like to add more salt, it's better to add the salt after the food is cooked,
Yeah.
rather than before, because if it's too much, then you can't really do much. But if there's less,
It's
you can always
easier
add.
to add than to take away.
Absolutely. So I always like to add and keep my salt to the minimum. So
But
now you're getting a nice color, yeah?
A trick that I learned is if you do happen to add too much salt,
You put
add
bread.
more potato.
Oh, yeah.
That will absorb the salt.
Or you can also put bread and then throw it out.
Right,
but
yeah.
Not everybody has bread in the house. I think putting 2 tablespoons of oil would be good.
Okay.
I might have used a little bit more, but it's fine because I think the potatoes is there. And it's olive oil, So I'm going to put in the potatoes in there. You could have used cabbage or kale. You would have been a good version, but I like potatoes, so I thought it would be nice to have the potatoes in there. And I think potatoes is good, is that it's very high in potassium. And if you don't fry it, I think it's healthy for you.
Yep. And Rani, you said this is a total of 8 potatoes, right?
8 potatoes,
8 small
and
potatoes.
you cut them into like 8 pieces, 8 quarters.
Okay.
And look at the color, it's nice, huh?
Beautiful.
Now, putting water in there is a little tricky because we don't have a recipe here. So what we'll do is, it's a pressure cooker, so I can't put too much water in here,
Yeah.
because otherwise it'll start coming out of its of the little pressure thingy. So what we'll do is, I boiled some water, and I like to put boiled water when I am cooking. Though I think the Bahian version they put cold water.
Okay.
The Bahians cook it a little bit differently, I think. What they do I was reading this recipe. What they do is they take the beans, put it in cold water, the beans that was soaked overnight.
Yeah.
And then they, the cold water, they'll let it boil. And once they boil it, they take the meats, and then they sort of, wash it in water so that the salt goes away. And they put it in there. But I think for the vegetarian version, we could have done that, I guess, and put it in a crock pot. But I'm doing it this way because I think when you put hot water, the food gets cooked faster too.
Yeah, because it doesn't lower the temperature.
It does not lower the temperature, you're
Yeah.
right. Absolutely. So I'm going to where is our cup?
I put it in the
So let's see how many cups should we put in here. So we had about 1.5 cups of black beans and about 6 potatoes. So I'm thinking we should put about, say, 3 cups. Let's see.
Okay.
3 cups of water. 1, 2, about 3. I think that should be good enough.
Yeah. So you kind of wanted to cover everything, but not too
Yeah,
much.
because also I don't want the pressure cooker to might be too much
Yeah.
water. Okay, so I'm going to let it bubble for a while, but I'll close it with the. So I think it's a must to have a pressure cooker.
Oh, it's so convenient.
Every Indian kitchen has one, and I think every Brazilian group has that. In fact, I bought a pressure cooker while I was in Brazil. I bought one from there. It's very cheap too.
Yeah. No, we use pressure cooker a lot too.
Yeah, it looks like the Brazilians has to have that in their house too. The modern ones.
Yeah.
I think in Bahia people are making it the old style.
The old
Yeah.
hours.
The lady, I think she cooked it for 6 or 7 hours. Now it's bubbling, right? So it's already boiling. So I'm gonna cover it up. And you see this here, this is the, we call it the whistle.
Right.
It'll whistle. So I'm gonna like set it for like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, what do you say?
Yeah. Okay.
I think that should work, okay?
Yep.
Now, once it is cooked, I have the coriander leaves here. When you put the coriander leaves over the feijoada, it gives a very nice flavor, fresh flavor. So when we're serving it, we serve it like that.
Yes.
And you can eat that with rice, just plain rice, or you can eat it as a soup. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. We'll show you the final version. Okay.
So this is how the feijoada, the vegetarian feijoada, would look at the end of the cooking. It took about 45 minutes in the pressure cooker. I didn't realize it would take so long. So I think it's a good idea to put the potatoes later on. If you can see, there are the potatoes are a little bit overcooked, but I think it's going to be okay because I think it's going to taste nice when it's soft. So this is the end product of the vegetarian feijoada. What I also did was I added a little bit of salt and some pepper just to give it a little bit of a zing. So enjoy, try and make them on your own and see how it goes. Okay, enjoy.